What is up, you guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mackenzie. If you're not new, thank you for coming back. So just jumping right into it, in today's video we are going to be making another project from the Amazon stained glass books. This one is the 40 Great Stained Glass Projects. If you don't already have it, I will link it in my description box down below. But in my last video I asked which one you guys wanted to see more, and you guys overwhelmingly voted for the air planter. So this is what we're going to be making in today's video. I think it came out so cute. In the book, this is actually called a potpourri holder, but it's no difference. It's literally whatever you want it to be. Potpourri holder, air planter, normal little planter, whatever you want. So this is what we're going to be making in today's video. It's super easy. Literally doesn't matter where you are in your stained glass career. Anybody can make this tiny little thing. Super cute. So if making that little air planter sounds like something you guys are into, let's get started. And don't forget to subscribe. Alrighty guys, so once again we're in the 40 Great Stained Glass Projects book, and when you open up to this project in particular, which is, it starts on page 29, the very first step is going right into soldering the bevels together. So they skip right over cutting the glass and grinding and foiling it. So that's the very first thing that we're going to have to do. If you guys are new to stained glass, I have already dedicated videos on my channel of each one of those individual steps. If you have any questions, I will link those down below. But meantime, I'm just going to speed through cutting out, grinding, and foiling all of these pieces. Again, since we're in the back of the 40 Great Stained Glass Projects book, we already have the full-size stencils in the back of the book, but I like to just take it over to my copier, make a copy of it, and then cut and print those out. That way I don't ruin the actual stencils in the back of the book and I can always have them. So I've already copied them, cut them out, made them a little bit thicker with tape, so I kind of laminate them just to make them last a little bit longer. So I've already done that. Let's get into tracing them, cutting the glass out, grinding and foiling. That way we can just jump to the very first step of this project in the book. Okay guys, so normally for such a quick comment, I would just add this in a voiceover, but I want you guys to hear me loud and clear when I say this. So I only put this much water in it because we are only grinding a couple pieces of glass, just one tiny little project. Otherwise, I would fill this thing up almost all the way. I put water pretty much up into the bottom of the bit, or just about every single time I grind glass. Now, I can do that because I have a water pump that delivers the water directly to the grinder bit. So, like I always say, follow the manufacturer directions. They're the ones who know best how to take care of whatever particular machine you're working with. And me personally, I'm only doing this because we're just grinding something really quick. Otherwise, I put as much water as I can comfortably handle in the grinder just to help keep it cool. I want to take care of my machine. They tell you to fill it up to a certain point, do that. Otherwise, who knows what can happen. Alrighty guys, now, like I always say, you never bring your freshly ground glass directly to your sink. You cannot wash glass mud down your sink. You will destroy your drain and your pipes. You need to have a fresh water bucket to pre-rinse, if not once, twice before you bring your glass to your sink and give it that final rinse before you start wrapping it in foil. So that's what I'm doing right here. Gonna clean them in here once or twice, bring them to the sink, then we can start foiling. Alrighty guys, our pieces are finally prepped, foiled, and ready to go. Now we can officially get to step one of the project. So step one says lay 1/2 circles down on the work surface, beveled side down. So we're not using beveled. So to us, that just means whatever side we want facing out is going to face down, and tack solder the first rectangular piece on top of the circle, even with the straight edge as shown. So I'm going to take either side, it doesn't matter. I want my higher iridescent shine side facing out. So I'm going to put that down, which means my textured side is facing me. And the very first thing we're going to do is tack solder our first edge straight along that top flat side. As always, I have my Novocan Flux inside this little jar for ease. I have my little brush. I'm gonna dab most of that flux off because we only need a tiny bit. So I'm gonna hit that corner that I intend to attach my first piece to. I'm gonna hit the bottom of that first piece as well. So in today's project, I'm gonna be working with both 50-50 solder and 60-40. My 50-50 is Canfield and my 60-40 is Eagle. I enjoy them both. But of course, we're going to start with our 50-50. So I'm just going to get that ready. And by that, I mean I'm going to bend my solder rod so it stands up on its own like that. So now all I have to do is take my iron over to it, hit the top. I don't have to hold my actual solder stick. So of course, I'm going to be using my Hakko FX601. And I'm just gonna try my best to hold this as 90 degree as I can. And I'm gonna tack solder it in place. And I'm going to grab my next piece, and I think we're gonna do the same, but we can only see step 1 on page 1. So let's go to the second page and see what they say. So it says to stand the unit up and attach the second rectangle onto the edge of the half circle, tight against the first rectangle. Then it says proceed in the same manner with the next 2 rectangles. So only 3. Then, starting at the opposite end of the half circle, attach 3 additional bevels. So it wants us to do 3 on one side and 3 on the other. This is probably to prevent some overcrowding or just making it completely uneven. So we're going to attach 3 rectangles on this side, then we're going to attach 3 rectangles on the other side. So let's do that first. Alrighty, now the directions want us to start tacking some on to the other side. They say the first 3 and then switch sides. So I'm just gonna do the same exact thing we've been doing, but I'm switched to the other side now. Okay, so I just had to remove one of the rectangles to get it to fit properly, and then I said, wait a second. Starting at the opposite end of each half circle, attach 3 additional bevels. Then insert the 8th rectangle. But 3 on each side is 6, not 7. So I went back, and I guess they meant to do 4 rectangles on the first side, 3 rectangles on the other side, then insert that last 8th rectangle. So I guess I read the directions wrong. I'm not sure. But I went back, adjusted, because they weren't fitting perfectly together. So I went back, adjusted, and now they should fit perfectly together. But I didn't want to just gloss over the fact that I did in fact have to remove one to get these to fit comfortably. Alrighty, so we've got all of our rectangles tack soldered on. The next step number 2, is position the other half circle on top of the rectangles and tack solder in place. Use braces to keep the project level, bead solder all seams, then edge bead the top edge. Alrighty, so you can see not only in the book, but in real life, there is definitely going to be a gap somewhere. You can see they have it in the book at the very bottom of their project. There's going to inevitably be a gap somewhere in your project as well. That's going to be totally normal. We are trying to make rectangles fit to a curved edge. So that's totally okay. Expect that. So now I'm just going to attach them to the other side. So now what I'm gonna do is go back in and loosen any tack solders I have to try to just get this to fit as best as I can with the smallest of gap as I can get. Then I will go in and actually completely tack solder it and then bead solder it in place. Alrighty guys, we are totally done soldering everything. So now that we're done soldering, we have to add the jump rings. So I was thinking I wanted to do 4 chains, but I think I'm gonna test out 2 first and see if I like it. So I'm gonna test out the 2 chains, see if I like how it works. If not, we'll add 4. Maybe I do like the 2 chains. It is kind of unique looking and it does sit flat. Okay, so I think I am going to leave it as just 2 chains. So I'm just gonna close this jump ring up and solder it closed. Alrighty. Well, that is our little air planter. So, of course, you guys know me, I'm going to patina this piece, but I'm gonna take it to the sink, give it a couple washes before and after that. So, as soon as I finish washing and patinaing it, we will take a final look at the finished air planter. Alrighty guys, here is our finished little air planter. I think he came out super cute. I'm glad I went with this glass. I feel like that sunburst texture complements the plants really nicely. And when I first looked at this design, just like I said earlier, I wanted to do 4 chains. I just didn't like the look of the 2. It looked almost unfinished or something to me. I don't know, but it's actually grown on me quite a bit and I've learned to love it. So because we made this into an air planter instead of a potpourri holder, having or keeping those 2 chains instead of 4 gives those plants plenty of room to grow out of the top, which they absolutely will do. So I'm cool with that. So I think that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, stick around. Gryphon was kind enough to send me over their Zephyr and a glass cutter. So the next couple videos we're going to be unboxing and testing out those, which I'm super excited for. So again, subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a like. I will link the book referenced in today's video, of course, down below. If you want to check out my stained glass work and my stained glass business, that will be linked down below too. And if not, I'll see you guys next time.